Hey guys, when it comes to selling physical books, I'm sure you've all heard the same things that I have, that bookstores are dead and that the only people getting into bookstores are the big publishers. Well, today I have Amy Collins here with me, and she's the expert in all things bookstores. And she's going to share with us some of the insider knowledge on really getting into bookstores and on bookshelves. So, hey, Amy, thanks so much for being with us. Could you tell us a little bit about the state of bookstores? Are they still out there? And can we actually get our books on their shelves? And do they want to buy our books?
They do. And there's a lot of them out there. CJ, thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you for a few minutes about this, because independent bookstores are very misunderstood. Even if you'd asked me 6-7 years ago, I would have told you that they were dead or dying, not to bother. But independent bookstores are growing like crazy. There's almost 2,800 independent bookstores in the U.S. alone right now. Now, that you may say 2,800, yes, no. There were only 1,600 independent bookstores back in 2009. The number is exploding, and it's growing. And it's growing at a time when stores and big chains like Barnes & Noble are shutting down stores, laying people off. Even Amazon had a huge amount of layoffs just in the last few weeks, mainly from their retail division. Now, I love Amazon. Don't get me wrong. I buy everything I can from Amazon. I get a daily box from them on my front porch. But they're only 46% of new book sales. That means that 54% of the other sales that happen, they're happening in bookstores. They're also happening in libraries and other places, but bookstores are huge right now. And bookstores don't just take the big houses. 22%, according to the Book Industry Study Group, 22% of the best-selling books coming out of the book market last year was from self-published authors and independently published authors. There is room for them in the bookstores, and bookstores are growing. I really want your authors to understand it's not a part of the market that they can afford to skip.
Wow, that's really amazing. I didn't realize 22% were being sold. That's really amazing. So I've read some of your stuff, and you've talked a lot about this season. What makes right now a good time to get our books in bookstores?
What I like about this time of year, I love this every year, is that it's such a sweet spot, because bookstores just came off the holiday season. Now, Barnes & Noble may not have done very well over the holiday season, but the bookstore market did. So don't just take it all from B&M. Independent bookstores did great this holiday. So they have all this money that's been coming in now because they were flush during the traditional holiday gift-giving season. But this other amazing season is right around the corner. Easter. Tons of children's books are sold at Easter. Mother's Day, which is prime time for novels, fiction, inspirational books, Christian inspirational, self-help. Father's Day is coming. Graduation, tons of advice, guidance, business books, cookbooks, like crazy. Moms, dads, grads, they used to call it. Now we kind of also incorporate Easter into it. So it's a real sweet spot right now. This video is being shot in mid to late February. So we have a very small but powerful window of time right now where we can be getting into bookstores and having those buyers consider books that they're going to be buying in the next few weeks and months for the key selling season. I love this time of year.
Wow, so they've got money, they want to buy books. How do we get our books in front of them? How do they find the books they put on their bookshelves?
Well, this is how my reps do it, and I'll just give you, and I've been doing this for almost 30 years. I was a book buyer. I was a book buyer for a chain of stores in upstate New York for a long time. And I've been selling to bookstores either through big publishing houses or through my own distribution company for a long, long time. And this is how we do it. You start by getting the bookstores to trust you. And you reach out to them and you tell them who you are and what you have. And so we have a group of books that we feel would be a great fit for the Easter or the Mother's Day or the Father's Day graduation season. And we'd like them to take a look. You send them an email to start. It's easy, to think about picking up the phone, but how would you feel, CJ, if your phone was ringing off the hook while you were trying to get your job done? It's not how book buyers want. So what we do is we start with an email. Then we follow up. We follow up and, we make sure that the email was viewed, that the books were looked at, and we talk a little bit about the benefits of the books. If it's a cookbook, you know, why it's so much better than the other cookbooks they already have. If it's a novel, you know, why this novel's so amazing. Keep it short. We keep it very, very short for this reason. Book buyers don't have a lot of time either. If they see 20 pages, their eyes will just roll over. But we put together a very powerful, short, punchy presentation, and we send it out to bookstores over and over again. It's all about the follow-up. The first time we contact a bookstore, I got to tell you, not much happens. But the fifth time we've contacted the bookstore, they're ready to either buy or tell us why not, and so then we have something that we can talk about.
So you mentioned why they might not be interested in a book. What are they looking for these days in books?
It depends. It depends on the bookstore. See, 2,800 independent bookstores, they're not all alike. So our list, the people that we work with, some of the bookstores are really heavily based on computer and business books, and some of them are feminist bookstores. We've got some that just do travel and some that just do history. Most of them are general bookstores that sell all sorts of categories, but some of them have a really teeny romance section, and others, the romance section takes up half the store. Some of them have an enormous Christian focus, Christian inspirational, Bible section. Others, it's almost non-existent. Some have great New Age sections. It depends. But here's the common theme. Whatever kind of book you have, be it a children's book, a book for adults, it has to look right. And by look right, I mean it has to look like it was published properly by any one of the top houses out there. If your book was designed properly, and if you hold it in your hand and someone would say, wow, this could have been published by any one of the top publishers, then you're good. They're pretty much looking for a good package. Yes, it needs to be well written, but the fact is that it all starts with the package and the price. If you've got a 28-page poetry book that in paperback that you've priced at $35, you probably aren't going to have a huge bookstore market. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. So I have clients all the time that we sell into the bookstore market, and I will not take on a client without vetting them first. I personally look at every book to make sure it's priced right, to make sure the design is right, because what bookstores are looking for varies in terms of category. And so novelist or business book, children's book author, Christian inspirational, whatever it is, that's not the big issue. It's how well it was published. And that's where I come in, because I really like to make sure that we're not pitching anything to these stores that isn't top notch.
Well, that's amazing. So it's obvious you know a lot about this stuff. And for me, it's really scary to think, how am I going to get in 1,000 bookstores? How am I going to contact all of these different bookstores? So my last question is there some way to fast track this process? Some button I can push, something I can do that doesn't require me to learn all the things you've learned in 20 years of experience, all the hurdles that you faced? Is there something I can do that would make it easy?
Yes, unfortunately you can't do it. I mean, you can, but trying to teach someone how to do this and to do the 5, 6, 7 follow-ups, it is time consuming. When we take on clients, it's expensive. You know, we charge $995 for these bookstore programs usually. But CJ, you and I have been talking for a couple of weeks now about the bookstore market. And so what I'd like to do for your authors, if this is okay with you, is I'd like to put together groupings for your authors and deeply discount them so that they're not spending $995 for these mailings. But instead, we'll put together some very well-designed, we'll do the design, we'll put the books, the book packages and presentations together, we'll send them out to the bookstores, we'll do all the follow-up, we'll do everything I talked about, but we'll do it for $399. But just for this spring season and just for your authors, please, this is not for other groups, just keep it to your list. But the reason why we're doing this is you and I have been talking. I've seen your designs. I've seen your work. We can put your authors into some very powerful groups. Your children's book authors, we can put that into a small presentation. You know, 3, 4, 5 books where we present a small grouping to the right buyers. We can also put perhaps some of your novelists, some of your business books, some of your inspirational authors. And what we can do is we can create themed emails, and we can start sending them out to these 1,000 book buyers and following up with them as groups, small groups, to make sure that they see all the books. It doesn't help anyone to be on page 74 of a catalog. That's useless. But we're going to have some very powerful results. I'm pretty sure now that when I see who your authors are and what's been out there and the work that you guys have done, I would love to offer this, what we call Liftoff program, to your authors for $399. So I'm putting this interview that you and I are doing on a page. And if you're watching this replay right now, guys, right below this video is everything I'm saying in writing. It talks about the spring program. It talks about what we do and how we do it. It talks about how I will personally vet each book, because if your book is not a good fit for the marketplace, I don't want you spending $399. I will either fix your book, get it to where it needs to go, or I'll happily refund your money. But I want you to feel confident. Right now, CJ, it's more important to me that your authors get in front of the buyers properly, but we have to do it fast. So I would love to do this spring mailing for you guys, and I can. But I need you to get the word out, and anyone who's watching this video, I need you to make a decision pretty quickly. Because if you notice down here on the buy button, we're going to start sending these emails out in March. It only gives us a couple of weeks to get the word out and to get you into the mailings properly. I want the best descriptions. I want the best looking covers. I want to get some great emails, because we're going to send them out over and over again, and we're going to follow up. And my sales reps are not going to give up until a lot of people have clicked on your books. The key thing that I just want you all to be aware of is that I will walk you through this process and make sure that your book is in the right warehousing. Don't worry if you're just on Amazon. If you're with Create Space, we can show you how to get into Ingram that way. But I want you to move fast, because we have a lot of work to do before the March mailings start.
Wow, that's amazing. And to think that we're going to get something that big, $1,000 value for $399, that really blows my mind, because almost anything you purchase for your book costs more than that. To think we can actually get in bookstores for $399 is super exciting. So I want to encourage everybody, click on this button, because I haven't seen very many opportunities like this. You'll see courses and you'll see apps online and stuff, but we're talking about getting into physical bookstores. That's so exciting. So make sure you click that button and take advantage of this.
Thanks, everyone. And thank you, CJ. And I hope to see you all in our spring mailing, because we're going to get out there. We're going to be pushing books, and I want to make sure we're pushing yours.